So let's show you who made the tournament in the AFC for the playoffs, which again, tons of great matchups here. Baltimore Ravens are the #1 overall seed. They'll have the week off, which is why John Harbaugh could go to the national championship.
I'm a little nervous about this because, C.J. Stroud's going to be under center for the Texans, who when he wasn't, when they played a couple of weeks ago. C.J. Stroud is playing much better than what I think a lot of people expected out of a rookie quarterback. I mean, he just seems cool, calm, and collected. And the fact that he is very elusive and he's very mobile, it comes down to this. They've got to get up a couple of scores and put the pressure on the Texans offense, try and make them one-dimensional. But at the same time, the Browns have to have a running game. They've got to get Kareem Hunt. They've got to get Jerome Ford going. If they can get a strong running game, Joe Flacco has just been unbelievable since the Browns signed him. How long can he keep it going? Well, let's hope at least one more week. I just think right now there's so much mojo and excitement in Cleveland and here. I'm going with the Browns to win this one.
This is going to come down to one thing: turnovers. This is the first game since 1970 where in a playoff game you've got the team in the AFC with the most turnovers, Cleveland, 37, against a team that has the least amount of turnovers, which is Houston at only 14. We all know there's going to be key turnovers in any playoff game. I think the Browns will commit a couple. This game is at home in Houston. Houston wins this game in a close one. The legend of C.J. Stroud just continues. And Eric, I'm sorry, but your Browns are going to go packing home, and we'll have to pack up their lockers for another year.
Oh man, matchup of like one of the youngest QBs in the league, rookie-wise, and Joe Flacco, who came off a couch to play quarterback for the Browns here, which I think we're all shocked that he's even able to throw a forward pass here. I figured he'd be retired and such, but he's been fantastic. So it's hard to hate on him. That Browns defense is pretty good. They are stout. If they had a legit quarterback that shouldn't be on a couch somewhere, I would take them to potentially go to the Super Bowl. So I'm going with the Browns. I'm taking Eric's team. I don't know how he feels about that, but I'm going with the Browns. And even more, Eric, I'm rooting for Browns, Ravens, the Joe Flacco revenge game.
Oh,
I could not
wouldn't
wait.
that be something?
Oh boy.
Well, but that in order for that to happen, well,
if the 2 and the 3 seeds win, then it'll happen.
Yeah.
So that's my vote. I want that. I want that for Eric, so that he's sitting there watching the Ravens and the Browns, who are basically, cousins and brothers and sisters, watching that game
and room to watch
and rooting for Joe Flacco. Flacco.
Yeah,
oh my gosh.
I want to see that dilemma. All right, this game's going to be like 0 degrees. I don't know how these teams are going to function. It's going to be so cold.
I think it's a situation where Miami's kind of limping to the finish line. And unfortunately, I just think the injuries now are going to be the story and taking a toll on them. Kansas City hasn't exactly, lit the world on fire either. But, the fact that the Chiefs are at home, regardless of the weather, I think they'll end up winning this ball game. It's going to be horrible conditions to play, no doubt about it. When push comes to shove, it might not be the prettiest game, but I think Kansas City comes out on top.
Tua doesn't play well in the cold, doesn't play well when he's pressured. Remember, they lost back in early November to the Dolphins to Kansas City, but I think this game comes down to the running game. The Dolphins are number 6 in the league right now in the NFL. Right now, the Kansas City Chiefs are at number 19. Eric, you go with your gut. For no other reason, I think my gut tells me the Dolphins win this ball game. You're right. They are limping coming in. Everything tells me I've got to go with the Chiefs, especially in that weather. But the Chiefs just don't seem right this year. I think the Dolphins win this ball game.
It's at home for Kansas City, so that is a plus for them. I'm pretty sure Taylor Swift's going to be in the building, so that's a plus for them. And the Chiefs are going to want to perform in front of all those Swifties watching. So I'm taking the Chiefs, man. Trusting Patrick Mahomes here, trusting Andy Reid. They'll just eke it out. I'm not sure the Chiefs are going on a Super Bowl run this year, but I'm hoping and I'm picking the Chiefs.
Steelers, though, I know they sort of limped in, playing a little bit decent on defense, but without TJ Watt, guys, I just don't know how they go up to Buffalo and win. Buffalo has been playing better football. Remember the middle of the season, everybody was wondering, are they even going to make the playoffs? We talked about it on Sports Talk that they were in danger, but since then they have played well. It's going to be cold in Buffalo. Of course, it's cold in Pittsburgh all the time, but I think the Buffalo Bills just a better offense. No TJ Watt. Pittsburgh does not have that good of an offense. Bills scored probably 2 touchdowns, and they win this ball game. Going with the Bills. I think this was the easiest game to pick.
Obviously, Watt is a huge miss, but I don't want to hear Steeler fans wanting, well, TJ Watt didn't play. Well, you know what? Suck it up, because a lot of other teams are missing some key people as well. So if I'm the Bills, I'm attacking that side of the field where Watt was occupied. You got to stay away from Highsmith, because you had Highsmith on one side, Watt on the other. That was a lethal 1-2 combination. And who would have thought Mason Rudolph doing what he's doing offensively? Come on. I heard an interesting stat, too, the other night in that game. Buffalo's offensive line has been intact for all 17 games. I mean,
wow.
I hear that, and sometimes you think, you know what, sometimes the best team doesn't always win, but it's the team that survives at the end. So it's going to be interesting to see. I just think right now Buffalo's got some mojo, and I'm going with the Bills.
I do think they're going to beat the Steelers. No TJ Watt. I don't think the Steelers perform overly well when he's out of the lineup. They have a losing record. With him in there, I would have given them a chance up in Buffalo, but without him, I don't see them having a chance. I'm taking Buffalo to advance on.